Hey guys, this is RolloutReviews with RolloutReviews doing another casual DX Kamen Rider Ghost unboxing. This time it is Ghost Gadget number 4, the Spider Lantern. Possibly the last Ghost Gadget. There haven't been any others announced, and this seems to be all the sounds programmed into the Gangun Saber at this point. The 4 we have now seen. So who knows if there's going to be any more attachments in the future, but I guess until further notice, this is the last one. So this is sort of the attachment that goes hand in hand with Benkei form here. It's a spider, it's a lantern, and it combines into this really goofy looking hammer thing here. I guess we'll see what that looks like in person, or at least I will, because just judging by pictures, oh no, that is by far the silliest so far, and I'm not entirely sure if that looks like a hammer to anybody else, but I don't know. Anyway, as I mentioned in the icon video, the last one I did, that included the Benkei icon, I talked about how Benkei's whole deal is he has like 7 weapons that he is very, attuned to using, and has them on him at all times. And it's kind of cool because his weapon is made up of the Naginata mode of the Gangun Saber and the hammer, which fills in the last 2 weapons that aren't pictured on his mask here, which I think is super neat. But enough talk, let's cut right into things. So that seems to be all there is in the box. You got your instructions. May very well need those at some point, but we'll see. These are generally very simple, and inside it actually comes in 3 pieces. You have the central section and these 2 side shells here. Something interesting in Kamen Rider is, at least for the past several years, there has always been a theme of three animals that make an appearance in some way, shape, or form in Kamen Rider, and that's a spider, a bat, and a cobra. The villains from Drive had kind of similar motifs going on, and they're represented in the ghost gadgets here, which is sort of cool. So yeah, we've seen the cobra, we've seen the bat, and now here is the spider. So it has this little switch on the top here, and to be honest, I was expecting this to maybe have some kind of electronics. I mean, the price point seemed rather low for that, but I was sort of hopeful because, ooh, that was my phone. Sorry for that. The prop in the show lights up. It actually lights up, and usually the props for things like this, gimmick toys like this, have, they're very similar to what they look like in the on-screen appearance to the prop in the show, and so I was almost hopeful that this was going to light up, but it doesn't seem to be the case. And like I said, that switch kind of made me more hopeful, but it doesn't do that, unfortunately. Anyway, how do these go on? I actually will need those instructions, so give me those here. Face the spider like this. Then attach these like this. It seemed to be what I was doing, I thought, but maybe I was doing something completely wrong. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And then this folds up, and these fold up like that. Closes like so. And there you have a little lantern, which Akari and Onari can use to shine its light upon ghosts that they're unable to see, and then they can see them. So that's how that works. And like I said, just especially considering where this switch here is, I was expecting it to maybe light up, but that does not seem to be the case at all. So here it is in lantern mode, and then of course you sort of saw it in spider mode earlier. It's got a little peg here, port over there. These open up and become the legs, and then this section here flips around and becomes kind of the backside of the spider. And there that is. Similar to the other Ghost gadgets, you have a little bit of expression with the way these legs can go, but for the most part, it just kind of stays like that. Personally, I'm fine with that. Here you have the face with all of the eyes. Actually looks pretty good. On my bat clock, upon further inspection, I did see the paint in the face was a little bit messed up, sort of. It wasn't too bad, but it's something I noticed, and I was afraid that these little eyes here might have, been sloppily applied, but that does not seem to be the case. They did not drop the ball this time around, so that is very, very nice. Of course, it has the plug on the end here, or the slot, so it can attach to the Gangun saber. But of course, before we do that, I do want to show off that it can attach to the Gangun hand, from what I've seen. Let's see if that's true. It doesn't actually activate any sounds, because as I've established with the past videos, there's only a single button here. But just like the Cobra Mobile, it is very thin. It's very small by comparison to the others, so you actually can attach it to this. Unfortunately, it still makes scythe sounds. Oh well. What would have been really cool, seeing as the hand here kind of interferes with the side of the lantern, unless you, of course, put it like that, but then that looks sort of weird. I think something that would have been cool is if, even though it has one button, if a Ghost gadget is attached and the hand is closed, it makes the scythe sounds. If there's a gadget attached and and this is open, then it makes maybe hammer sounds or something similar when this is attached, just to give the weapon a little bit more functionality. It could have been done, guys, but unfortunately, it does not turn out that way. So, a little sad, but oh well. Now, here we have the Gangun saber, of course. It is not on. Should probably turn it on. And then we put it in Naginata mode here. Like so. I probably should adjust the camera. So give me a second to do that. Pull out things a little bit here. Whoop, 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 whoop. Behind the scenes. Don't want you to see that. Okay, alright, okay. Professionalism! Here we go. Turn the viewfinder around, and now we're good to go. The lighting is a little bit different now. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go, there we go. So here we are in Naginata form. And then we take this spider here, slide it on like that, and then fold this top section over. I think. I thought that's what you did, but it doesn't actually seem to go all the way. It just kind of interferes here, so maybe I'm not supposed to do that. Let me see what the instructions tell me to do, because I could have sworn that was a thing. Yeah, the instructions kind of just have you fold it over like that. Excuse me. Yeah, it just kind of sits like that. Again, this trigger here is to disengage it. Let me see if I can do anything to make that a little bit more tight-formed there. That's the right thing to say. All right, there, maybe a little bit, or I could be crazy. Anyway, here is the hammer form. I guess. All right. Kind of looks like a hammer, sort of, but then you look at it from this side and it's like, oh, okay. I actually think the hammer form has this flipped around, but that doesn't seem to change anything up top here. So yeah, here it is. It of course activates some new sounds. So it makes a whacking sound, and it has kind of a skitter of spider legs there. I just think it looks super weird. Like from the front here, the illusion is completely broken. From the back, from this side, kind of completely broken. It like only looks relatively okay from this side. Little disappointing, but you know, it is quite large in Naginata mode, as we have established with the Gangun Saber before, so it has some interesting weight to it. And then of course it also activates its own finisher. So let's show that off. I forgot to put Benkei in here. Oh no! Oh well, you can live without it. Anyway, eye contact here. So, kind of a nice sound. It has, again, an even bigger whacking sound. Some more spider skittering about there. Very cool in the show. It has a couple of different functions here. One time he uses it, he kind of flies up in the air and just smashes down the enemy, which I like. I like me some hammer weapons after being a big fan of Gao-Ga-Gar, so there's that. But then he also has another version of the attack where he kind of slams it on the ground and it summons like the other 5 weapons in kind of an energy form, and it throws them at the enemy, and I think that is super cool as well. I just wish the weapon itself looked a little better, but I don't know, I guess you can't win them all. This easily has the worst of the weapon modes. The spider mode is actually better than I thought it was going to be, and the lantern mode is pretty cool. So there is that. Not my favorite of the gadgets by far, but it's not bad. It's not completely terrible. Now, one thing I really wanted to do is, because after all, it attaches to the Spectre weapon, the Gangun hand, that also means, like the Cobra Mobile, it can attach on the side rails here. Again, doesn't activate any sounds, but there is room for it. So, just to have a little bit of fun, I wanted to sort of go a little bit crazy before I finish this video off. So, spider over there, the Cobra Mobile over there. Let's transform the Condor phone here. Put that on here. Slide that on. There we go. And then, of course, the bat clock is a weapon on its own. So turn that on. And there you go. This isn't even my final form, ladies. This is ridiculous. Of course, it makes the same sounds as the Condor phone here. But wow, this is a heavy thing. Once you have all of those on there, I kind of don't even want to try putting it into the gun mode configuration, because I feel like all of this is so heavy, almost too heavy, perhaps, for the hinge here. I don't want to risk breaking it. It would be interesting if he did something like this in the show. I doubt it'll happen, but it's a fun idea. So, now that that is out of the way, let's do a group shot of all of the, I forgot that the switch is over here. Let's do all of the gadgets together, all 4 of them, as it would seem. There is going to be, but of course they could surprise us in the future. I still think they may do something involving those side rails on the Gangun Saber for like a final form weapon or something like that. But I don't know, like I said, I guess we'll find out. Anyway, here is the bat clock there. Here, if I can attach this. There we go. Here is the Condor phone. Still my favorite of the bunch, if I'm honest. But, oh well. I don't think it's ever gotten better than the first one. They're all still cool. They're all just a treat to transform, a treat to play with, and I like what they offer for the Gangun Saber. But, you know, here they are together. Kind of have to squeeze them all in here. But yeah, that is one big happy family. So that's kind of cool. I really like these. I like these a lot. These are seriously some of my favorite little gadgety friend robot helpers that we've gotten probably ever, just because of the functionality they have with the Gangun Saber, and then of course the one that this has with the Gangun hand. Like I said earlier, that seems to be all of the sounds programmed into the Gangun Saber, unless there's something super secret that I haven't figured out. These four are all we got as far as activating new sounds in the hardware goes. But of course, if we do get another attachment, it could have its own sounds. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. If I had to rank these, I don't know. I'm tempted to say that the Spider Lantern is the weakest, just because, like, I think it's about on par with the Bat Clock. But the Bat Clock also has its own electronics and functions as its own weapon. So I think it edges out a little bit just because of that. And I am starting to really like the Cobra Mobile. It's really hard for me to rank these, actually, going back on my word. Maybe it is a little bit more difficult than I once thought, but all I know is that the Condor phone is my favorite and probably the best of the bunch. But there is the Spider Lantern, and that is about it. So, this is IX Roll at IX, signing off.